Hey everybody, Brian Bush, Top Crop Alliance. Here's the follow-up video to the last one I sent, going into the reasons for the tip back we're seeing in the corn. So let's get the easy question out of the way first. How's the June corn looking? Short answer, I don't know. It looks like it's pollinated well, but we can't really determine tip back until we start seeing that yellow kernel color on the ears. That tells us which kernels the plant's going to keep versus the ones it's going to stop feeding. Here's a comparison. So on the left is a mid-May planted ear, on the right's a June 1 planted ear. So there's quite a bit of difference between these two planting dates. And just a reminder that June planted corn still has a long way to go till it's going to be mature. The next question I've received is, hey, I'm not seeing this tip back in my fields. Awesome. And you may not be. But I also ask you, how many ears have you peeled back? Because like this, you can see there is a difference here. Some ears are showing it, others are not. So have you checked enough ears to really be confident that you don't have any tip back in your field? So if I take the same ears and kind of turn the picture around, now you can see the stalks those ears came from. You may not be able to see it in this picture, but the larger diameter stalks, the bigger stalks, are showing less tip back than the smaller stalks. I couldn't get a good picture, but sometimes when I dig up the root systems here, I find a smaller root system on these rump plants, or a compromised root system where it's not quite as wide or as deep as I would hope to see. That's probably also adding to the tip back we're seeing. A smaller stalk diameter, smaller root system, that could be part of the answer. But I think this is the bigger portion right here. This graphic shows the average low temperature overnight from June 14th till July 31. Another way of saying that is how warm have our nights been? When you look at this across southern Indiana, we've had either the hottest or maybe the second or third hottest average nighttime temperature during this mid-June to late July time period. So why does that matter? Corn moves from one growth stage to the next based off of heat accumulation. So if we have hot nighttime temperatures, that means we're accumulating heat at a time when we don't have sunlight out there. Less sunlight, less energy. The plant has to decide where it's going to spend its energy, its resources. And unfortunately, that might mean the plant decides to not keep all the kernels it's pollinated, giving us this tip back we're seeing. This next graphic is actually available to anybody that shares data with Pioneer. So it comes from Granular Insights. And I know it's kind of hard to see in this format here, but just bear with me. I'll walk you through the details. So this example field was planted on April 24th. And from April 25th, the next day after we planted, to May 15th, we actually had warmer than average temperatures. We were 50 GDUs above the 5-year average. That's the dark blue bolded line you can kind of see in the middle of this graph. Then over the next 11 days, from May 16th to May 25th, we actually lost those 50 GDUs and fell below the 5-year GDU heat accumulated average. If you remember, we were wearing sweatshirts in late May and saying, this isn't right, this isn't normal. Then from May 25th to June 10th, we fell 37 GDUs below the 5-year average. But we're actually running below normal on GDU accumulation for this April 24th planted field. Then starting June 10th, all the way through the end of July, July 31st, we actually not only made up the difference there, but ended up 119 GDUs above our 5-year average. So another way of saying that, from May 25th to July 31st, when we really increased the heat, we cut out almost a week's worth of sunlight because we accumulated that heat in fewer days. Here's another way of explaining this. So right now, we're getting about 29 growing degree units, GDUs, per day. Our average for this time of the year is 24 GDUs, growing degree units, per day. So we're accumulating enough heat in 5 days' time that we would normally get in 6 days' time. So why does this matter? We're missing out on 14 hours of sunlight for the same amount of heat we've accumulated. Less sunlight means less energy to help retain kernels. Also means a greater chance of seeing stalk cannibalization because that plant's going to continue to feed those kernels, especially late in the season here. If we don't have enough sunlight, we might see more issues with stalk lodging come harvest. So throw in any other adverse conditions, like maybe dry weather, maybe it's cloudy days, maybe it's disease coming in and taking out leaf area. We're just adding to more stresses on this plant. Trust me, this is not the story I want to tell you, but it's reality in a lot of our fields. I'd rather give you an idea of what we're finding in these fields rather than be surprised when the combine starts to roll. As always, if you have any questions, reach out, and I hope you enjoyed this deeper dive into the bush.